The year is 2007. The first iPhone is already 2 years into development, and Steve Jobs presents it to the whole world at a key conference. After the conference, the engineers ask Jobs, "How is it?" And he says, "Everything is great except one problem. We need glass." Jeff Williams, the COO of Apple at the time, explains to him that it would be impossible for them to have glass on it, and that it would take at least 3 to 4 years before the technology developed enough where the glass wouldn't shatter on the very first drop. And Jobs' response to that was, no, you don't understand. When it ships in June, it needs to be glass. The very next day, Williams gets a call from this glass company, and they tell him, "Good morning, Steve Jobs called us last night, and he said our glass sucks. But we have this thing called Gorilla Glass, and it's in a very early prototype stage, and we believe that with enough funding, it might just work for what you need." Ultimately, Apple invested a lot of money into this glass company. The first iPhone shipped with glass, and Gorilla Glass became the industry standard even today. Just recently, I was tasked with organizing a cooking competition. I know nothing about cooking. Now, sure, I wasn't all alone in it, but it was just me and this one other person who had to organize the whole event and film it all in order to make a video out of it. I hear you ask what could be so difficult about organizing this event, but when you start looking at the finer details of it, the sentence, "I have to organize a cooking competition," starts sounding absurd and out of reach. For starters, you need to fill out the event forms. You'll need to find participants, judges, and someone who's willing to supervise it all. On a Saturday, you're going to need camera crew. You're going to need cameras for the camera crew. What are the participants going to cook? What are the recipes? What is the plan for the video and for the event? Are you even making money out of this? Is this even profitable? Will there even be a prize? Oh my God, there are so many questions and so few answers. This is going to be impossible. It wasn't. The event ended up being a great success. People had a lot of fun. They made some amazing food, and a funny video came out of it all. But one thing stuck out to me. It's crazy how unachievable and out of reach this whole event seemed when we started planning it, and it's even more crazy how well we managed to pull it all off. Thinking back on it now, everything came down to one of two things: emails and spreadsheets. A lot of emails and spreadsheets. And you'll find that difficult tasks, they all come down to a bunch of very small tasks. But why am I telling you about this? Why am I telling you about Steve Jobs and his glass iPhone? Why am I telling you about some cooking competition I organized? What's the point of it all? It's because the core principle is the same. The feeling of being overwhelmed, the doubt, the fear, the where do I even start? How do I make this happen? That's something that each and every single one of us in this audience here have felt and have experienced at least once in their life, regardless of the magnitude of it all. So how do we fix it? Is it perhaps expertise? I highly doubt it. Steve Jobs knew nothing about glass. I knew nothing about cooking or cooking competitions, and I still don't. Yet we both achieved what we set out to do. So then it must be time? It can't be. Steve Jobs only had 6 months to make a huge change through his brand new groundbreaking product, and I only had 2 weeks to do my cooking competition. It's breaking down the big tasks into smaller ones and tackling them one at a time. The Oxford definition for the word pragmatic is solving problems in a sensible way that suits the conditions that really exist now, rather than obeying fixed theories, ideas, or rules. And I really love that second part, rather than obeying fixed theories, ideas, or rules. These are preconceived notions imposed onto us by society. 80% of new businesses fail, so that must mean I can't start my own business. When we're told this isn't possible, very few of us bother asking, but why? And the funny thing of it all is that we are society. Most of the time, it's not even someone telling us this isn't possible. It's something that we tell ourselves. And it's not even something that we tell ourselves consciously. It's something that we hear somewhere or we read somewhere, and we get scared out of our ambitions. Big barriers, unachievable tasks, they can feel like they're more in reach if we tackle them one at a time as they arise, just like the definition said. Let's apply this to an example. This is Bartholomeus Orithius Brimstone, my friend, Bob for short. He wants to start a business. So naturally, he calls up the business company and says, "Hello, I would like one business, please." Bob then wakes up, realizes there's no business company, slaps himself across the face twice, and starts working on his business from scratch on his own. But how is he going to start a business? He doesn't even have a product to sell. That's what he's going to do. He's going to find a product to sell. But that's too broad of a task. That's too difficult to do at once. There's so many ways to find a product to sell, and there's so many products to begin with. He could go on his phone and look through his ads and figure out a product from there. Or maybe he could ask his friends, hey, what would you like to be sold? He could do so many other things. So this isn't achievable. What he could do, though, is go on his laptop and Google, what are some of the best ways to find a product to sell for a new business? And notice how he's not Googling what is a good product to sell. He's Googling what is a good way to find the product to sell. Notice how we took this huge goal of Bob's, becoming a business owner, and we broke it down to one small, menial, actionable task. Now, sure, it's not going to be this easy. Starting a business is not just making one quick Google search. But the nice thing of it all is that this same methodology can be applied to all of the other problems he's going to encounter. He's going to have to find a supplier. He's going to need to find a place to sell. He's going to need to find a way to advertise his product and a target audience. But again, he can take the big problems and break it down into smaller ones. Let's do a thinking exercise. I want you to think about one of your personal goals, something that you set out to do and for some reason just never got around to actually doing it. I'm serious. It could be anything. It could be doing your laundry or catching up on the work from last week, or maybe even becoming the next Jeff Bezos. Now, I want you to think about what's stopping you from achieving this dream. If you were to decide right now, okay, I'm doing this. I'm working on my dream. What's the first problem that you're encountering? We'll call this the barrier. It could be that the task is simply too big to do, or it could be that you don't know how to do it. But there must be something stopping you. Now here comes the fun part. I want you to think about how this problem is stopping you, how this barrier is stopping you. Take it and break it into smaller ones. Say, I don't have enough time to work on my task. Well, my first sub-barrier would probably be figuring out where my existing time is going. My second sub-barrier could probably be blocking out a day of the week or of the month to put time to work towards my goal. Now, you'll find that if you keep doing this, if you keep taking the big barriers and breaking them into smaller ones and smaller ones and smaller ones, you get down to the very small, actionable tasks that you can do in one work session. And this is the art of being pragmatic. By outlining and figuring out exactly what it is that you need to do, everything starts feeling like it's more in reach. And it makes sense. The more clearly you can see your path, the easier it is to walk it. And now, before I go, I'd like to summarize my whole speech in just 12 words. Running a marathon is hard, but taking one step forward is easy. Thank you.